Hello dear ones, it's Maria with you. Today I'm gonna, as I promised, I'm gonna talk about where we came from. When I say where, I'm talking about our soul, our spirit, our consciousness, where we all came from. So I have a little presentation that I will show to you guys. And so, wait, let me just adjust a little bit. Much better. Just a reminder, I have, or you that is new to my channel, I have videos in English, Portuguese, and Spanish. The playlist, the link for the playlist for all my videos in English is in the description of this presentation, this transmission. Let me show my screen. Our little summary: we were created by God, like Himself. We are part of God's consciousness. We are a beautiful thought in the mind of God. Yesterday I did a presentation, I did a video about what I understand throughout all those things that I've been studying for many years. How I understand that Earth was created. So I give you my point of view based on everything that I've been studying. Let me just, I don't know why my computer is so slow today. Just bear with me. Okay. Let me present my screen. That was from yesterday presentation. I'm really sorry, I didn't know I had that problem. So, Earth was created, beautiful, about 40,000 years ago. It was perfect to receive life. There was trees, animals, and beings started to come and visit Earth. Beings from other galaxies, other dimensions, other planets, and some would have light bodies, others have ET bodies, some was human-like, others not. All types of them would come and visit Earth, would stay, just enjoy some experience in the physical on this beautiful playground, and then they would leave. About 20,000 years ago, Earth had the idea, what about if we create human body on a fifth dimension, create fifth dimensional bodies, and invite spirits, invite consciousness from all over the universe to come and incarnate on me. So what we're going to talk today is from where those consciousness that inhabit, that incarnate on those bodies came from. All beings, all consciousness that exists, this came from source. All consciousness that ever been came from source. So God has a thought, and then part of God's consciousness said, okay, I want to experience this, and then it's dropped from source. When they drop from source, all beings that drop from source, they have the free will. Free will is one universal law that's applicable to all beings. As soon as they leave source, they are abide to the free will. So the first group that I'm showing here came straight from source. I want to experience, I want to go there and live in the physical body on this beautiful place and see how it goes. And then others came from other dimensions. By other dimensions, you can imagine that can be like other physical dimensions, like 5D, 7D planets, or other galaxies. Other dimensions can be non-physical, like the spiritual world, the angelic realms. So these other dimensions is very abundant. It's very wide range. Others would come from other galaxies and other planets and other solar system, other star systems. I put some examples here. The Pleiades, there was a group that came. The Arcturus, the Andromedas. There is the Andromeda galaxy. That's the closest galaxy to our galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy. That's the one we are. But we also have on the Milky Way galaxy, we have the Andromeda constellation. And then you have another star system that's the Sirius A, B, and C. So many people also came from here. And Alpha Centauri, many from all over the place. And others would come straight from spaceships. Sometimes many ETs, sometimes they live many lifetimes in the spaceships, and they have the mother spaceship mother, that's like a city or many cities together, and souls incarnate straight there. They live like they live in a city. So when you are here on Earth, and then you are in the playground, when Earth was still the fifth dimension, beings would stay here. Fifth dimension, you don't really die. You have the experience. You decide, okay, I'm done with that. So you just leave your body. There is no death. But later on, Earth became a 3D planet, a third dimensional planet, that I'm going to explain how that came about, how that happened in my next video, like about the evolution of Earth. So when those beings started to play with lower vibrational emotions like hate, like guilt, and many others, so they dropped the frequency of Earth, and Earth became a 3D-dimensional planet. So when they used their free will to play with those lower vibrations, and by doing that, they make choices that was contrary to love. They made choices more fear-based choices, and they harm themselves or harm others, so they create karma. So when death started. So when they would leave the physical body, instead of come back to the places from where they came, or even straight to source, they would go to an astral city, or depend on how they were. If their mind was too embedded in the lower vibrations, they would go to a place they call like Suffering Valley, or some would just stay in between, in Earth, in between the others that was incarnated. And then after some time, if they would go to the astral city, they would learn, and then they would come back to reincarnate again on Earth. From the Suffering Valley, sometimes they were rescued from there, take the astral city, and then incarnated, or incarnated straight from there. And So that's when we call the wheel of karma. So many beings stay here on that wheel of karma for thousands incarnations. So there is no limitation. You need to ascend. The only way you come out from here is to ascend, to turn your mind back to love, to turn your mind to love again. And then you realize that you are one with God, and you make better choices, stop hurting yourself and others. And then when that happens, that's what we call ascension. You are free of the wheel of karma, so you no longer have to incarnate on earth. And then you can choose to go to wherever you want to go. You can go back to source, or you can go back to any places that the place you came, where you are. And also, or you can just choose to go anywhere else. You are free. You are free to decide where you want to go. So, as I told you before, all beings that exist, all consciousness that exists, has the same source. So the beings from other dimensions that come from to Earth, actually they came from source. And the ones that live in other galaxies, other planets, they also come from source. The ones from the spaceship, they probably came from the other galaxies and planets, but there are some that's born straight on the spaceship, especially the motherships, and it can be that some come straight from source and incarnate on the ships, the spaceships, but I didn't want to represent here. So let me just talk a little bit more about the how that happened. Yesterday I explained that when you incarnate, you are a beautiful thought in the mind of God. God decides you want to experience something, and then you jump in and say, oh, I want to do that. I say, okay, so here you go. So you decided to separate yourself from oneness. You don't separate your consciousness from God, because that connection is always there. When you are in the 3D, you kind of forget that, but it is still there. I explain about that, and your higher self is the one that maintains that connection when you are in 3D. But let's say I want to experience something, and then say, okay, I want to go. So my soul is created. If the place that I decided to go is Earth, so my soul matrix is designed for Earth. If I want to have an experience on the Pleiades, so my soul matrix will be different, and so on. When you decided to, from other places, go to other places, you can go. You don't need to, God source doesn't need to create another one, so I need to go back to source and then restart all over again. No, they just can go from, even though they have soul metrics for the Pleiades, they can come, or they can come, their consciousness can come, or only some aspect of their consciousness can come and incarnate on Earth, and some adaptations are made. So because the soul matrix from Earth, the bodies are different than the soul matrix from the Pleiades. So there are some adjustments in the DNA of the body to be able to hold that frequency, because the soul is not ascending. If a soul vibrates in a fifth dimension, when incarnates on Earth, the soul is still vibrating in the fifth dimension, even though it doesn't remember, even though it's come to a 3D body. So that adjustment on the body to be able to hold that light, and it should be done. So that's why also we end up with the 22 threads of DNA. That for many years many were deactivated. In some time in history they left only 2 activated that was responsible for our basic survival. That's why they say, oh, the humans use only about 10% of their brain. They are not really caring. That was true. But right now, there are many humans that if doesn't have all the 22 threads of DNA activated, there are many. There will be like 10, 22, especially the new kids. They come with all their DNA perfectly working. That's why you see those kids doing amazing things. So let's just talk a little bit more about who are those other beings. I put only 4 of them. They are kind of my favorites that I know. And also I think they are good looking, but not all of them are good looking or for us or have human features. Some is not human like. But you have the Pleiadian, the Arcturians, the Andromeda that comes from the Andromeda galaxy, and the Sirius. And later on I will make another video about star seeds. And then they kind of forgot what I was going to say. But when they come with all the 22 threads of DNA activated, and then they have, they don't forget everything. They have that sense that they are not from here. And they come with many abilities that us that are here on the wheel of karma doesn't really have. So more to come on that. I just want you to start getting used to the ET appearance, because very close in our future we're going to start to interact with them, and there will be no place to hide. If you don't want to know anything about them, but they will be there for everybody to see. But the good news is all of them, they are vibrating over, starting on the 5th dimension. And on the 5th dimension, that's when the unconditional loves start. So they all have unconditional love to us. But of course, not all ETs vibrates in the 5th dimension and high. There are others that not. But we don't need to talk about them today. So that was my presentation for today. I hope you got a little bit curious to research more about them, to research more about all the material that I explained in my video self-empowerment presentation, where I share with you guys most of the material I've been studying. That's really opened my mind for so many things. So that's all for today. Thank you very much, and see you in my next presentation. That will be Earth's evolution. Okay. Thank you very much. Much love and light to you.